Hello and welcome to Takeout Extra. Well, that was exciting, wasn't it? The episode on the Big Bang versus the Bible was by far the longest episode I've done to date. It was a really interesting episode to research, and as it was an adaptation from an actual rebuttal I'd written as part of a conversation, it made it that little bit more fun. So I want to touch on one very important point before we move on. I think we should always make a distinction between attacking someone's erroneous beliefs and them as a person. It is absolutely right to point out someone's poor epistemology, even at times doggedly. There isn't a one-size-fits-all method of discussing these things, and I think we should always begin by respecting the other person as a person, even if we find their beliefs abhorrent. To my mind, if we are unable to respect the person, we should probably step back from the conversation altogether. I am more than happy to get my teeth stuck in, to rip furiously at someone's poor arguments and bad ideas, but that should never come at the cost of personal insults. Let's distinguish here. Personal insults does not include insulting their ideas. You are employing bad ideas is acceptable as an argument. You are never is. I think if we can remember this simple rule of thumb, we can immediately make our conversations more productive. As my subscribers will know by now, and new viewers will soon learn, I am always asking for feedback. What I meant is suggestions for show ideas, feedback on sound, video quality, etc. But it seems by far the most popular feedback I've had is, what are those books behind you? So, by popular demand, we're going to spend the next couple of minutes looking at my bookshelves. Okay, so welcome to the bookshelf tour. What you're looking at right now is the selection of books that I don't really tend to read very much. That's fantasy. I used to be a big fantasy and science fiction fan when I was younger, and that's pretty much it really. Carl Sagan Contact, probably one of my favourite books, certainly my favourite movie of all time. Those are Stephen Donaldson, the Thomas Covenant Chronicles. You can see there's a number of books, and that continues down onto the next bookshelf there. Okay, along with the Lord of the Rings. That is pretty much my entire non-fiction collection. So, the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, these books here, I inherited from my dad. He had them when he was young, and I read them when I was younger, probably 14, 15, 16-ish. And they came to me upon his death, and these two are the third instalment of the series, which my dad never got to read. So anyway, the Silmarillion, I don't need to explain these. The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, the Silmarillion, in my opinion, probably one of the best books ever written, because it takes it's what Joseph Smith should have done. You know, it's a good book that looks like an authentic retelling of myths and legends to form a religion, and that's what Joseph Smith should have done instead of the Book of Mormon, which was lousy. So let's go back up there a minute. Oh, let's stick to this shelf actually while we're here. So then we have a collection of Bibles, some Qurans, Tao Te Ching, I Ching, and some Hindu texts. That's I like to use different translations. I don't like to just look at one translation of things. So it's very important to me to use different translations of things while you're looking at things and trying to like read interpretations and whatnot, rather than just looking at one. Then my go-to stuff, I use a combination of BibleGateway.com online, and then pretty much this new international version is I want to pull off the shelf just to quickly look things up. So, the next shelf. The Great Courses, a fantastic series. Mine tends to be like Cognition, The Deceptive Mind, few general science ones. Most of them, as you'd probably expect, are religious ones. Introduction to the Quran, Lost Christianities, that kind of thing, Historical Jesus. And then we've got a little martial arts section here. Used to be really big into the martial arts when I was younger. Started doing, was taught self-defense classes, me and a friend of mine, trained in Chinese martial arts, and yeah, that's about it for that. And then got into pro wrestling, as you do. So yeah, I love my martial arts stuff, both from a physical point of view and a philosophical point of view. So the next shelf down, we've got a few history books. The Dragon Wakes is a Chinese one. Paul to Paul, I love Michael Palin, I love his travelogues. I've got the whole lot on DVD, and I've got a few Monty Python books here as well. Big Monty Python fan, always have been since being young. So we've got a couple of biographies here. Got one for the Python. You can see anyway, you can see what that is. You know, any questions about them, feel free to ask. Down here, oh, getting a bit tight down here. Myths, fairy tales, that kind of thing. General knowledge, a bit of history, a bit more history. Australia's Aboriginal heritage and China's Forbidden City. I don't know if you can see that in there without me taking it out. Odyssey, Homer. That's probably in the wrong section, in the Land of the Invisible Woman. That's a female doctor's journey into the Saudi kingdom. Things like that. And then if we go onto the bottom shelf, we go into the DVDs. Lots of Star Trek and things down there. So if I can ease myself back up here, move along a bit. That's a book about monasteries, Buddhist monasteries, just a photograph book, that kind of thing. On this shelf we have my university books here, and that's a surprise for someone, so we can't really talk much about that. Right, we'll move along this way and make it easier. Here we've got the Mahayana Buddhist sutras and sutras related to those. Along here we've got various Thai forest tradition books on Buddhist chanting. Really good for the Pali stuff. That's got verses in Pali and English, so that's all good. Pretty much all Buddhism related things there. And then if we come down here, we've got the Tipitaka, which is essentially the Buddhist Bible. It's split into 3 sections. The Vinaya Pitaka, which is here. This is the section about the rules and for monks and nuns and things like that. Then they've got the Sutta Pitaka, which is starts here and goes all the way along there. This is, see how big the Buddhist Bible is. That ends around, kind of cuts off around that part there. So that's the Sutta Pitaka. That's basically the stories that were given by the Buddha and his disciples, things like that. Dhammapada, probably the most famous Buddhist text ever in the West, but it forms, as you can see, a very, very, very small part of the whole. This is 11 times longer than the Bible. And the last section, ignoring that one, is the Abhidharma Pitaka, which is basically the philosophy of the Buddhist teachings. This, The Path of Purification by Buddhaghosa, is 5th, 6th, 4th century text, which is basically a summary of all of that, and goes into various aspects of it. That's just a general little book on Buddhist scriptures. Okay, so right down here, what we got here, let's try and get the angle right for you. Okay, so all the sciencey kind of stuff is here. Psychology, I'm really interested in psychology and cognition, things like that. Carl Sagan, probably the best book about skepticism, if you're looking at a book about skepticism, and psychology and neurology, lots of things like that. A couple of books about physics, paranormality. Again, don't get confused by the name. It is about how we deceive ourselves. It's full of good little experiments. Book about Western philosophy, Bertrand Russell. Can't really go wrong with that. Hume in the corner there. So going down here, continuing the science theme, that's BBC Science Focus magazine, something I get sent through every month. The Ascent of Science, again, Cognition, Richard Dawkins' book, etc. Interestingly enough, I don't tend to read many kind of books by atheists as such. I've got that literally because it's about evolution. It's not really. It touches upon it, but it's not really a book that I got for him writing as an atheist. Continue down here. A few sports book and my children's headphones. There's a few woo books just to have a look at the opposition, as it were. The Nectar of Devotion is a Hindu one. Celtic Football Club, that's who I support. And a couple of wrestling books. I used to be a wrestler when I was young and could actually move. And again, just the videos for Lord of the Rings. Again, and whatnot like that. So let's go back over here and along here. And then here we've got Zen. Lots of Zen books. Different kinds of Zen books then tend to, and then moving on to Tibetan Buddhism, and then just general Buddhism at the end. Going down that way, this is the kind of reference section. So we've got Zen Buddhism, a history, got Bodhidharma Anthology, which is about the letters, looking at the history of the letters and how it developed, and the authentic ones and what may not be authentic, from the guy who essentially was supposed to have taken Buddhism from India to China. Christian theology, a few books about Jesus and Christianity, history of Christianity, Bible on Earth, a couple of books about the Quran. Notice that Muslims tend very much to say that the Quran is unchanged and it's a perfect text and can't be reproduced. But actually, as these books will show, it did develop. It wasn't just given and that was it. That's a common misconception, and I don't think many Muslims themselves are aware of the difference in that. Okay, so then we get onto just general Christian, Islamic, all that kind of stuff. Just by Christian authors, you'll notice there's a couple of C.S. Lewis things in there and whatnot. These are really good. I got these free from Piano. I got these free from a newspaper many years ago, and they're literally just I don't know if you can see that. Let's put that on there. They're literally just tell you about different aspects of Christianity. It's just a nice little thing. So we'll put that back there. And then a few of my wife's books there. headphones, music books at the end, because as you can probably tell by the piano, we're a bit of a musical family, and then more DVDs and clutter. So that's it, that's the bookshelf. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any more suggestions or questions about the show, myself, or it seems my workplace, shoot them my way. The next episode of Sceptic Takeout is all about conspiracy theories. So like, subscribe, set notifications, and I'll see you then.